What is up, you guys? It's Nat. Welcome to my video. Today we are doing, I believe I called it Tiny 21st Century or 21st Century Tiny. Was trying to go for the alliteration there, but basically doing a modern tiny build. Now, I have seen other simmers in the past do tiny builds, and I personally love the whole tiny home craze that's kind of going on in America right now. People ditching their big houses for little teeny tiny sort of mobile homes, exploring the country, yada yada yada. I think that's super cool. I don't think I could ever personally live in a tiny home. I think I'll get way too claustrophobic, but that's just me. I still think they're super cool though. But anyway, so today we're building that. I believe this lot is a 5x6. I think I definitely could have gone smaller, but this was my first actually trying to be like a tiny build thing. What, that sounded so weird. This was my first time actually trying to build something that was really tiny. So I don't think I did a bad job. I do think we could have lessened the square footage a little bit. And I do think that I will try tiny builds again in the future. Just because I felt like this challenge was super cool and I really enjoyed it. So definitely gonna do it again. But right now just working on the kitchen. So we have obviously an open kitchen living space. Because there's not much room for anything else. I do want to go over some changes I make. I'll do it at the end of the video, probably when we're going through screenshots or right before we hit them, because there were some changes I made to this house after I had stopped recording, but they're very minor changes. But like I said, going for a modern look, so I get really picky with the wallpaper and the colors like I always do. I wind up figuring it out, and before I get called out for it, yes, this is basically a tiny version of my other modern home that I did last week. I really did kind of take the same wallpapers, the same flooring, the same color scheme, like red, black, white. I used the same wallpaper outside, but I also feel like I was just trying to be quick about it, because the build I uploaded yesterday, or whenever this is being uploaded, the bungalow build, it was supposed to be a bit smaller. It didn't come out as small as I was anticipating, and the build took way longer than I wanted to. So I was just like, I want to get these builds shorter. I'm doing a tiny build. There's no reason it should take me any more than an hour. Let's just do it. So, yeah. There are a couple things I change after I stop recording, but very, very minor changes, and I'll explain them to you when we get to that point. But anyway, wow, we're already halfway through this video. It's so weird. I put that window in there. I wind up not keeping it because just sticking to a tiny modern, I wanted everything to be kind of, oh, what's it called? I almost said sympathetic. No, that's not it. Oh goodness, I can't think of it. Symmetrical. There we go. I'm an art student, or at least I was an art student before I graduated. I should probably know my terms, symmetrical and whatnot. I'm trying to figure out what I want to put on that wall there. I really, really love accent walls, especially in modern homes, and I finally found a purpose for that, misty forest wallpaper that I've been wanting to use for so long, so I love it. I use it there, and I do use it upstairs. We have a loft-style bedroom in this house. This house is really ideally built for one sim. Probably a bachelor or bachelorette, but, you can always have two sims in here, because there is a queen bed upstairs, or I guess whatever size the sims would dictate their bed is, but probably more so built for one person, just because it's a very tiny home. I mean, then again, I've seen tiny homes smaller than this that fit 4 people, which is just crazy to me, but whatever. So here, trying to just figure out the bedroom situation, I mimic this fence from outside, which, yes, I cut the top kind of in half. It's more of a 2/3 type deal, so that way we can have an outdoor sitting area, which I personally really like. Definitely think that if you're living in this tiny of a space, you're gonna want some time outside. Figuring out what I want to put on this nightstand, and, I use that splash wall again, trying to figure out a window situation. That also winds up changing. Trying to figure out if I can add a window on top of this door. Of course, doesn't work, but that's one of the changes I do make, I believe, is I change that door, because I realized I used a really short one, and it's from the Spa Day pack. They have one that's pretty short, but they also have one that takes up the whole wall, so I wind up changing it to that, because that's the effect I wanted, was for it to be the same height as the windows. I just was being dumb and did not do that originally. So I wind up changing that door, and I think I wind up changing the windows so that way they are from the same pack. Just trying to figure out a situation outside, figuring out some lighting, all that good fun stuff. What am I doing? Oh, it goes so fast. Yeah, see, now I'm looking outside, I'm oh, well, the windows don't look good to me. And I always tell myself, with other builds, don't add the windows first, add them last. and, you know, don't use too many windows, because then you just try to build around them and it's just a mess. But like, you know, I usually don't mind if the windows aren't totally perfect on a house, because I mean, like, even on my house, like in real life, like a house doesn't have perfect windows everywhere, like symmetrical. Like my house has a million different kinds of windows. I have bay windows, I have the normal rectangular sliding windows, whatever you would call them. I've got like, I've got windows for days. Windows for days. You know, I just try to tell myself that in The Sims, but with really tiny builds like this, I just feel like the windows seem more pertinent, especially when, you know, you're on the top floor like this and you're adding these big windows. It's because you want it to feel more spacious. So I feel like the windows mean more. But yeah, there you go. I'm like going in, deleting them and trying to figure something out and blah blah blah, and I figured it out. But oh, and then I wanted to mention really quickly, although we're not on that part of the video anymore, I don't know if I go back to it again, but this border that I have going on around the house, on the right side of it, I guess if you are facing from the house perspective, it would be to the left. But for some reason, the trim, the white trim on the house, I could not get it to work, and I don't know why. So there is a part of trim missing on that part of the house. If you can figure out that problem, if you download this house, then by all means go ahead. I could not get it to work, and I don't know why. It's a video game. In here, I was trying to figure out like a privacy wall, but then I felt like, well, we don't really need it, because those big windows, they aren't downstairs, they're upstairs. We don't need a privacy wall downstairs. There's no windows. But, you know, I try to make it a bit more modern and maybe a little bit more private, and like, you know, you do have lots of window slits in this front door, so put in these cool hedges that I found. Now we're just putting in our pathway, which also changes a million times. This fence that I use changes a million times because I realize I can't get the gate to fit. So I think what I wind up doing is I put in like a space. I make like a 3 grid square gap, and then I put in these like hedges, which I thought was kind of cool. So, you know, we're just rolling with it. Line these hedges in the back, add some greenery to the space. There's not a lot going on in the back, because I feel like when people do tiny builds, you don't do much outside. But when I was researching tiny homes, like, they usually have a nice exterior though, and they have some stuff going them for out in their yard. But I didn't really do that with this, you know, maybe in the future. But I just feel like when you're thinking a tiny home and like a tiny home challenge in The Sims, you're trying to keep it to the house. So I just throw in some trees, make it look nice and green, and then I do put in, I think, an art easel out back, because who doesn't want to paint outside, you know? It's nice. Trying to figure out some curtains upstairs again. I think I finally figured it out. I put in some, like, blinds. Yeah, I put in this art easel now. Woo! Everything is play tested. There were a couple things that were broken. I did go in and fix them, obviously, when I had the sim in there, but I think we're about to wrap this up. Yeah, I do remember a mailbox. I almost didn't, so I remember the mailbox. I also put in a bin. But anyway, hey, look, screenshots! Oh, they're so amazing! This was a really quick build. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This build is available for download on the Sims 4 gallery. Just search hashtag ItsNat where you can find this build and others like it, or completely unlike it, because I build all different kinds of stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna stop banging my desk now. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And really quickly, just before I forget, because I almost totally did, the changes I made, I changed the couch, I added a hanging bookcase, I changed the deck door and the windows, which I did talk about already. I added a couple more accent walls, changed the plant in the bedroom because that's a very important detail. I added plants to the deck to add some greenery, and also added some front yard lights. So those are the changes I almost forgot to tell you guys about, but there you go. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys!